This is the Vigilante video game review of Left 4 Dead. Yeah, that's the cover right there. Played this game. I love Dead Rising. Loved it a lot. And I was really excited when I heard about this game. So I kind of expected it to be kind of like a Dead Rising multiplayer. And when I got the demo, played it, it wasn't Dead Rising multiplayer. It's much more, I'm not going to spoil anything for you here because there is no story whatsoever. So I can't really spoil anything along those lines for you. The gameplay mechanic is quite a bit different than Dead Rising, because rather than kind of being this kind of epic kind of quest kind of thing, the 4 players taking part, co-op, have a mission of basically escaping a infected area. And the area takes about maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours maximum to play one of these segments, and it's pretty fun. Multiplayer. A lot of cooperation is required. It's very fast, very twitchy, very action oriented. There's highs and lows of kind of like the drama. They have some sort of automatic system that kind of spawns these things, waves of attacks and that kind of thing. Kind of key moments so you don't get overwhelmed or kind of underwhelmed by just going through an area that seems too empty or too not very exciting. So it's a different kind of game than I had expected. I like shooters. I like co-op shooters. So I was interested in that respect. Got it, played a lot of it, and it's a fun game. It's a really fun game. It is a little different than maybe what some people might have been looking for, I think. I was getting comments from people that I played it with. They were a little surprised, not quite exactly what they thought, but everybody seemed to enjoy it quite a lot. It is fun. I don't know if the game has the legs really to play for a long period of time, but it could. There is a versus mode where you kind of switch back and forth between teams of 4, playing the zombies and playing the humans. So that, I think, adds a lot to it. Without that, it would have been probably pretty kind of minor type game interest level, because I think you kind of get used to it or kind of done with it pretty quickly. But as it is, it's got some legs, got some fun. I think I've heard rumors, this is purely rumors, that it's going to come out with expansion packs that kind of deal more with the single player element of it, the story, the backstory, what's going on, that kind of thing. So that could be interesting, but those are just kind of rumors. Who knows about that? The difficulty of the game I thought was pretty interesting, because I've never experienced a game that had quite this type of difficulty level, where you have normal gameplay, which I felt was pretty easy. Again, not overly easy. You're definitely not going to feel like, oh, it's a cakewalk. First couple times you play it, you're going to find it's challenging enough. But I think once you get kind of used to the controls, used to the kind of how you fight the zombies, that kind of thing, it does get to be a little easier on normal. So right away we kind of cranked it up to advanced, and there's an expert setting even beyond that. Advanced, quite frankly, kicked our butts. Advanced is very tough. The difference between normal and advanced is the biggest jump in difficulty I think I've seen in a game, and it's kind of surprising. And then expert is just ridiculous. You just get annihilated. You have to be really professional, professional zombie hunters to get through on that. So I thought it was kind of unusual and kind of a little bit upsetting in a way, because I just wish there was something between difficulty level between normal and advanced, something that's a little bit more challenging, but not so hard that it requires like perfect coordination, perfect team play, or kind of perfect everything to get through relatively unscathed. So that's kind of an interesting element. Another interesting kind of technical aspect of the game, it seems to work pretty good. There's lag sometimes and that kind of thing, and again, it's not too crazy or weird. It handles it pretty well, actually, I think. But odd, and this is kind of more anecdotal. It's hard to reproduce this kind of stuff and things like that. But of my 4 buddies who I know that are got it expressly to play it, one of them bought it, popped it in the machine, and it froze. Didn't work. Didn't boot right out of the box. Very strange. So it's very strange for a product to do that, and it was diagnosed down to being his hard disk. And this guy bought a brand new Xbox. He's only played 2 other games on it. This is the 3rd game he started to play on it, and it freezes up. And they say it's the hard disk. Got a new hard disk. plopped it in there, it works fine. But very strange. And another buddy of mine, not of this kind of group of four that I played through the game with, had a similar sort of problem. I heard kind of anecdotally, like, this guy bought it and his Xbox broke, the day he bought it and didn't work with it. And it sounds kind of similar to this other guy. So I'm kind of thinking, was there some sort of weird, glitch where, depending on how your hard disk is set up or something, it could cause problems when installing or trying to run it? I don't know. But they got different Xboxes and both of them are working fine. So it's not a situation where it's a big permanent problem, but kind of unusual. But other than that, I think technically, it works very well. There isn't really a lot of issues. They have a lot of, I think, pretty good thought into this. They could have kind of maybe rushed it out, taken a few features away and got it out a little bit quicker. But some of the features that are really important to this kind of game are, if somebody drops out of the game, rather than them dropping out of the game, they're replaced by an AI. And you can kind of pause and have the AI take over for you and kind of jump in and out during the game. You always have your four guys with you, even if they're AI controlled or not. And if that player leaves, another player can jump in and take over. Very well thought out. If they had, dropped out permanently from the game, like some other, type of shooter type games, can happen. Then that would really suck because you're halfway through the mission. You really need four people. Even on normal, with three people, it's pretty tough. If one of your players dies and you have to go down the road a little bit to pick them up again, in the segment where you only have three, it's substantially harder. It's about probably the correct difficulty level, you might say, from going from normal to advanced, where advanced seems even harder than playing normal on three. But still, it gets substantially harder, so you really need that fourth guy. And if it didn't allow for people to hop in, hop out, and AI to take over, it could be a pretty crappy game, I think. But with that, just small little inclusion, it really works well. So I'd recommend to buy it if you want a co-op shooter, co-op gameplay. And even the versus mode is fun and different. I haven't played it a lot, but it certainly seems to have some give the game that would have had pretty short legs substantially more. So that's it for James Farley, Vigilante Center. Vigilante out.